Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video I obliged to share with you the perspective drawing without the vanishing point on the neoclassical building, which is slightly different to my previous drawing. It is going to be hexagonal shape of a building, which is going to be tricky to draw a perspective drawing with the vanishing point. However, with the principle that I show with drawing a perspective drawing without the vanishing point, it could apply for this hexagonal shape of a building and make it much easier and nothing could go wrong. And before though, I feel compelled to share with you the recent building that I visited, which is in West London, known as the Scion Park Castle, which is owned by the British aristocrat, and that really gave me the inspiration to draw a neoclassical building. But instead of imitate the exact building on site, I decided to draw it to make it slightly challenging by creating a hexagonal shape of a tower, just a tower alone, and into a drawing, you applying the same method, which I like to share with you, that I hope it helps with your drawing project. And please watch this video. Thank you. Thank you very much to coming back to my channel. I started with the square shapes in isometric position to define this square shape building. Then extrude it downward with the vertical lines to connect to below, which will be identical or mirror that the square above, to create this kind of extruded square shape box. Also the line behind, that will be the hidden part of the line, but I indicated a really fine thin line to indicate the reference, so I know where the references will be, because this is the perspective drawing without the vanishing point. It will be using the shape of this itself to be the references for the vanishing point. Now that the square is formed, I then create a hexagon shape based on that square. This will make it easy to create the hexagon shape of this building. Now that I identified the top, I'm going to project that line to the bottom. It will be identical to that, just a mirror of that shape. At this stage is really important to have a really clear fine lines. Now then I find the center point using the square box, but without continuous line on that square box, just on that face, that will find the center line of the front. Now identify the center line on top as well, as I divide that, just like this. Then to find the side line, just see that we automatically connected exactly like this. Now that I find all of this center line, I don't need to use the reference anymore. The reference will be just to identify where the center point is, just like this. But it is important to take a note. I'm going to mark where the flooring will be. Just this is the center line. The process center line is continue once I mark it, just like this. See, nothing could go wrong with these simple techniques without the vanishing point. Now I have the enclosed hexagon building. Now I then mark the top, the detail on the top. This is going to be the neoclassical architecture, which that distinctive features right on the top. I'm not adding too much detail at the moment, just the reference line for now. I'm not adding any ornamental features on it. From that, it set me the location where the opening will be, which is locating at the center of the gap from the top of the flat roof with the distinctive features. On this kind of architecture, the top windows should be shorter, kind of square shape, and of course you have to have that a bit of a ornamental features right above the windows, that the below top of the windows below the roof. This is just for the line for now. Now I then identify the opening for the second windows, which is the third floor. The third floor and the first floor, the windows opening in term of length or height should be the same, apart from the top is shorter. Now again, on the side window will be in the similar, identical way. Now I like to add a bit of detail of that, showing the depth of this structure. Side windows, side opening, because when on the side you can see the depth of that structure going inward. As the building above, based on that reference, you can see the top lintel, and it goes below, you see the lower. You don't see the lintel, but you see the below frame of that window. Now then I'm adding the window frame surrounding, usually made of stone. And on the other side, then I put a shading in there. At this stage, it is important to identify where roughly the location, where the sunlight coming from, so that it's easy to identify where we do this hatching for the shading. On this side, I like to have it coming from the left. With that, it gives the depth of this window, the structure, like that. On this side is quite a simple one. I don't need to put too much information in it. Just simply vertical line. But of course, the line that I did at the beginning is my drawing is much easier, because you get the reference of this connected, so I know how long is that horizontal line be, just like this. Because realistically, you can't really see the opening, just the profile of this window as it get really hidden, just like this, and it is effective. Now I got all the information I needed for this building. I'm then starting my hatching to provide the shadow of this structure on the windows, on the opening. And of course, I'm going to add a bit of a detail of the sash windows, the thin window frames. Again, on the other window there. Now that detail in those information are done, I then move on to the shading. Starting with the corner of that, whether to accentuate the line, the shape of that hexagonal on the building facade, I start with the shading on that first. It is important to start with really fine line, and of course adding the shading underneath the cornice, right above the top windows. On this exercise, I like to combine the vertical and cross hatching, cross line to hatch, to double, to give it much thicker, darker lines, to emphasize on the shading on this building. As I go along, it is important that I keep checking on what needed, because before they are forgotten, I don't like to add more line underneath that window frames. And of course, cross hatching it again. The thickness line is usually on that where the building shape, building form change, the boundary between the other facade and to the other facade. I like to double my lines twice or 3 times, 4 times as much as like, rather than pressing my pen too hard. And now hatching on this side. The hatch is not just about to show the shade, but at the same time you show the texture as such, the material of the building property. This hatching is really therapeutic exercise. One of the details added, the hatch is just the end. It's easy, the hatch is easy, however, you make a mistake if you sample your line to get thicker. It actually distorts how the building should be. It will distort the form and the shape of it. So it is easy, but it is advised to be careful with your hatching. Now add a bit of more again detail on that top roof. Usually just sticking out to protect the water going into that building wall. And of course, it directly become the part of the building features. There it is. Adding more shade in that to show the depth of that window frames rather than just flat. And of course, another detail there. Slightly line up the side window, because this window is quite smaller, and it is important to just put a fine line to indicate the window frames. Just let the tricks, the optical tricks, to see that. Now I'm painting my pen because I don't want it to have a thick line. I just want to slightly fine line to be slightly darkening that surface. And of course, without the showing the footing of these buildings, is making this building looking floating. So it is optional to add the footing where this building standing and hatching it, and I'm not going to add too much detail on that, because the main goals of this exercise is about drawing a quite complex hexagonal tower buildings of the neoclassical building in perspective without the vanishing point. So here it is, and I hope this drawing helped you with your project. Thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe to support. Thank you very much.